Welcome to Tyneside, one of Britain's sporting hotbeds in the northeast of England for the first ever World Half Marathon Championships. This the area that's produced great runners like the world mile record holder Steve Cram, who actually runs today, and one of the inspirations behind what's usually the Great North Run, Brendan Foster. 30,000 fun runners milling around the start in what are very good conditions for this run from Newcastle out to the coast at South Shields. Several star names also lining up in search of the medals here, including last year's winner, Kenya's flamboyant Benson Masaya. They're the Ethiopian women, the American men, runners from all over the world here. Little Moses Tanui on the left of your picture, the world 10,000 metre champion in Tokyo in 1991. But let's concentrate first of all on the men's junior race, and this is over a 3-lap course, 6.5 kilometres for each course, and they'll end up in the Gateshead International Stadium, which of course has witnessed some great races down the years. Bit of a disappointing field, only 23 starting from 8 nations, and that's because of a bit of a clash with the World Junior Championships going on, or recently having taken place in Seoul. In this race, we expect the Italians and the Ethiopians to be among those who figure very prominently indeed. Slightly different course for this race than for the big race that we'll show you later, when the men simply run on a straight line course from Newcastle to South Shields. Here they're lapping around the Newcastle and Gateshead area. Up there in the early stages I can see number 10, that's Rain Miljan from Estonia, the tall figure. There he is, wearing the glasses, about 6 feet 7 inches tall. Kaisa Tedesse from Ethiopia is right up there as well. Early stages, and the pace looks quite modest at this stage. Matuli of South Africa, an interesting runner here too. The South Africans, of course, back in the international fold for the first time this year, and with a silver medalist with Alana Meyer at the Olympic Games in Barcelona. Number 32, Salvatore Orgiana from Italy, hits the front. This race starting at 9 o'clock in the morning, and that's why the crowds are a little bit on the thin side. As expected, the Africans right up there, especially the Ethiopians. Of course, that country's produced some great runners in the past, like that splendid Olympic marathon champion twice over, Baby Bekila, and Olympic champion too, like Mamo Wolde. Drink stop. Orgiana, Italy, number 32. Number 13, that's Kaisa Tedesse of Ethiopia. Just behind the number 37, Matuli, the South African. And a group of about 6 or 7 of them starting to get away at this point. Andriani of Italy is also in that leading group, and so too Bekele of Ethiopia. Always difficult that for the runners to make a turn like that in a long distance race, because it can tend to just break the rhythm a little. It's incredible really, the production line of young African runners, and they may be juniors today, but they'll certainly be tomorrow's stars. Ingagiola, number 31, is the man now pressing Tedesse, who has the lead. And he's beginning to ask some questions here. Before the halfway point, and Tedesse just starting to get away. This is the race behind for the minor positions. Looks a very comfortable and assured young runner, Tedesse. And he's broken right away in the closing stages here. It's Kaisa Tedesse of Ethiopia who's going to become the World Junior Half Marathon Champion. Into the Gateshead International Stadium. Early in the morning, the crowd is thin, but he'll remember this moment for as long as he lives. Kaisa Tedesse, the time is going to be very respectable indeed. Matuli of South Africa coming home in second place here. Something like 10 seconds behind. Tedesse's victory. Matuli in second place. And here comes Francesco Ingargiola of Italy into third place. And the Italians with a lot of runners up in the top 8, and I think they'll take the team prize here, as it's confirmed Tedesse's time 64 minutes 51 seconds, 10 seconds ahead of the South African. And Italy taking the team event from Ethiopia and South Africa. So all set now for the Women's World Half Marathon Championships. Big field lined up from all over the world, even this late in the season, and one woman in particular looking to gain some recompense for a disappointing Olympic Games. That's Liz McColgan, who'll start an overwhelming favourite here from Great Britain, and there she is, number 68. Jill Hunter, a late withdrawal from the British team. That's a disappointment for the big local crowd. The artillery gun gets them underway, and they set off on the journey of 13.1 miles. It'll take them across the Tyne Bridge, and then they'll head due east to South Shields, out on the northeast coast of England. Liz McColgan, I noticed, just checking her watch as they set off, and she is the kind of runner who is absolutely relentless. She always looks to break the opposition from the front. Will those be the tactics? We'll see from her here. Motorcycle outriders, cameramen, and of course elite runners from all over the world are used to running now with all those trappings. The rest of us would find it very off-putting, I would think, on a normal jog. McColgan, number 68, alongside a number 70 there. That's Andrea Wallace, who took up serious running very late in life indeed, but has made an amazing success of it all. Comes from down in Devon in the southwest of England, Andrea Wallace, where she also breeds Arab horses. Two British runners running together there. Drink stops, of course, along the way for the runners. There's Nadedza from the unified team, number 43. Japanese team much in evidence as well. Asai of Japan, number 96, and number 97, Takamoto. Their biggest threat, I would think, would be Fujiwara, who's shown some pretty good form. Stride for stride, McColgan nearest the camera, Wallace on the far side. Liz McColgan, of course, who was the world champion over 10,000 metres in Tokyo, but couldn't match that performance at the Barcelona Olympics this year when she was suffering from a virus, it's since been revealed. Check on the course. There it is, from Newcastle city centre, over the famous Tyne Bridge, through Gateshead and on to South Shields, out on the northeast coast there. South bank of the Tyne, really. There's Francesco Panetta, lining up and ready for the men's race. Former world steeplechase champion. Big name, big attraction for the fans here. They do love their athletics. And off they go for the men's race, 25 minutes after the start of the women's event. And also involved here, all the fun runners. Steve Cram is in this lineup as well, big local hero, world mile record holder, who's making a switch up to 5,000 metres and has been doing quite a bit of endurance training. He's in the field. Interestingly, we wouldn't expect him to be among the leaders, but his time is going to be worth checking. A stream of humanity. These big road races, of course, now have caught on all over the world. Of course, normally this is known as the Great North Run, which has been going on since 1981, but doubling up this time as the World Half Marathon Championships. So added kudos for the event. Just look at the colour there. And of course, millions of pounds will be raised for charity by those who just jog around at the back and who will regard it as a major achievement just to finish. At the front, of course, it'll be a different kettle of fish entirely. They're really racing there for the big gold medal. Kenya with an exceptional team here. Outstanding favourites to win the team and individual titles. They're led by last year's Great North Run winner Benson Messiah and Moses Tanui, the world 10,000 metre champion of Tokyo, but he's only a reserve. He's running really as a guest here. South Africans are in the race as well. Meanwhile, in the women's race, Liz McColgan is up there in the early stages. Munarotto of Italy. And over on the far side, wearing number 43, Ilyina from the CIS, who was fourth in the world road race last year. Beaten by just 2 seconds she was in that event. She could be a factor too. Rosanna Munarotto, very consistent. There are the fun runners over the famous Tyne Bridge, the landmark in the northeast of England. This city pretty crazy about its athletics and its football team as well. Every game's a sellout at the moment, with them winning 100% record. Kenyans much to the forefront, and the pace looks hot in these early stages, maybe suicidally hot. Four and a half minute miles would bring them close to the hour mark for a half marathon. There's the Gateshead International Stadium, which has staged so many superb races down the years. One of the epicenters of the British athletics boom. They go past that though, and they set out of the city of Newcastle and into the countryside before hitting South Shields. Still plenty of them involved in that leading group, including just about all the Kenyans, as you'd expect. Britain's team, incidentally, includes Paul Evans, the outstanding British distance runner this year, Dave Lewis, the former Accrington librarian, Steve Brace, first Briton home in the Olympic marathon. Benson Messiah you're looking at. Former boxer he is, very good amateur boxer, and not a bad runner either, is he? He won this race last year, and he's setting a blistering pace as well this year. In the women's race, it's beginning to get narrowed down. 68, Liz McColgan. Fujiwara, the 23-year-old Japanese, is up there too. Number 36 is Fatuma Roba of Ethiopia. She's only 19. The only performance we've heard of from her before was a 19th in last year's World 15-kilometre road race. Wonder if she might have just won a World Junior medal in Seoul had she gone, but she's opted for this instead. McColgan looking ominously comfortable though. Munarotto, the Italians, is the other one up there. The rest of them you can forget about as far as winning this race is concerned. But it's the usual tactics from Liz McColgan. And how her life has changed since she was a 23 pounds a week worker in a jute factory in Dundee in Scotland. Liz Lynch in those days went to college in America, married Pete McColgan, became Liz McColgan, and a household name with it. And earning very, very big money for her trouble. She's going for the Tokyo Marathon next month as well, and is looking there to break Ingrid Christensen's world best for that distance. Thrives on hard racing, or so it would seem. Although there were some that said she raced just a bit too much during the summer, and that may have been a contributory factor to her defeat in Barcelona. Little Ethiopian girls running a fine race. And she hits the front. Munarotto is a consistent performer, made world and Olympic finals. She was 16th in Barcelona and 5th in the world road race last year. There's the average speed. A lot of people would struggle to run that kind of speed for about half a mile, let alone 13.1. Messiah, number 111. Look at him taking little glances around. Number 299 is also up there. I think he must be one of the fun runners. We don't have him on our actual start list. 177, that's Boe Akane of Tanzania, only 22 years of age. 5th in the prestigious Stramilano race last year. We don't know too much about him. McColgan and Munarotto have got away in the women's race, and McColgan looks to be winding this up all the time now. Only had a baby a couple of years ago, Eilish, and even when she was pregnant she was out running most of the time, Liz McColgan. An obsessive trainer, as indeed you have to be, of course. Most of these distance runners would train 100 miles a week, I'd say, on average. There's the 10-mile time, 52 minutes and 50 seconds. McColgan getting lots of encouragement from the British crowd. That's Akane of Tanzania. He ran a sub-28-minute 10,000-metre race in Berlin a few weeks ago, so that's good form from him. He could be a factor here, and he's just making a little bit to get away here, the Tanzanian.
36 minutes and 15 seconds at 8 miles. Well, they don't have records at 8 miles, but if they did, that would be the fastest.
Lots of Africans up in the leading group.
And there is
Notice the Argentinian, Antonio Silio, though, is also quite prominent too. But that's Benson Messiah.
Who's run 27 minutes 50 seconds.
He's got a bit of a boxer's face, hasn't he?
He's a good 10,000
You wouldn't want to argue with him.
He's a world-class 10,000 metre runner, but we've never seen him perform like this before.
Completely missed out the track season and has been concentrating on road racing, but I would think if he wanted to run the 10,000 metres on the track, well, you'd have to reckon with him for certain. 109, Joseph Kaino, another of the Kenyans. They're packing very well towards the leading group. Kaino is just below the top strata in Kenya. 13 is Silio on that far side, the Argentinian. We see plenty of him on the track. Haven't seen much of Francesco Panetta so far, I must say. One or two of the guest runners also quite prominent, rather surprisingly. You get the feeling sometimes with Kenya that if they put out about 20 runners, they'd all run pretty well. But McColgan here has got away as the finish comes in sight for the women's race. The sea away to her right, and she's on the glory leg now, Liz McColgan. 28 years of age, the world 10,000 meter champion in Tokyo. Disappointment in Boston, where she was 41st in the World Cross Country Championships. Disappointment in Barcelona, 5th. But victory here, and she will be the first ever women's world half marathon champion. They can't possibly catch her now. It looks like Fujiwara, the Japanese girl, may be getting past Munoroto for second place. That's the gap.
Looks like we may have a change in second place. Fujiwara catching the Italian fast.
And there McColgan, you can see how hard she's working, but she'll
She had an inconsistent season, really, on the track. The virus in Barcelona. Close race for second place. And Fujiwara from Japan, just now ahead of Rosanna Munoroto of Italy. McColgan is having to dig pretty deep now, and they've probably got a bit of a sea breeze just blowing into their faces at this stage, and that'll be a cooling factor for them.
And it's really a case of just keep working. You've got to get yourself to the next lamppost, and then you've got to psychologically boost yourself just to keep going. And it's very, very hard.
McColgan's time is going to be around, we reckon, the 67-minute mark.
You can see her grabbing her side, probably a bit of stitch there. But Liz McColgan looks to be enjoying this. She's working hard, but she works
After that virus she had at the Olympics, it was ascertained that she was anemic. But in recent weeks she's run a 70-minute half marathon in Scotland and a 52-minute 10-miler a fortnight ago.
Well, the course record here is held by the great Greta Weitz of Norway.
Liz McColgan on her way to victory in the World Half Marathon Championships, doubling up with the Great North Run this year.
See the headlights of the leading police car.
It's not a pretty style, but it's a very effective one. And this is an excellent way for her to end her season in Britain before heading off for that Tokyo Marathon. And I think by the time the next Olympics come round, that is where you can expect to see Liz McColgan competing in the marathon. Her style is certainly very well suited to it. She can run on track, she can run on road, she can run over the country as well. A bit like Ingrid Christensen in that respect. The crowd's packed along the seafront at South Shields. And she's about 90 seconds clear now, Liz McColgan. There's no catching her.
The other one was Liz McColgan herself in the World Championships in Tokyo.
I was talking to her the other day. She says she's got some things to prove in 1993 when she gets back onto the track. And of course, she'll desperately want to defend her World 10,000 meter championship in Stuttgart next August. This will certainly do to be going along with for Liz McColgan. Fujiwara in second place, Munoroto's third. We think Katuna, the Romanian, is up in fourth place at the moment, ahead of Asahina of Japan, who's running her first race outside that country, incidentally. Roba of Ethiopia, the 19-year-old, has dropped back.
Liz McColgan, now 28.
McColgan's victory. And a very popular one it is too, with the knowledgeable crowd in the northeast of England. That little that little toddler there almost getting in Liz McColgan's way, and she can do without that gentleman poking the camera in her face. Last thing you need. They didn't even pay to get in either. Now McColgan's personal best is 67 minutes and 11 seconds. She's going to be outside of that. McColgan is well clear, and a restatement here of her world-class credentials. Victory to Liz McColgan. 68 minutes and 51 seconds is the time.
She did it extremely well. And in second place, Fujiwara of Japan has done very well in the last couple of
Corrected, we understand, to 68.53. Just outside the course best, held by Greta Weitz. Fujiwara coming through for second place here. This is going to be a personal best run for her. She's known as a bit of a moderate 5,000 metre runner before this year, but she's arrived on the world stage here. Munarotto, the Italian, is in third. Fifth in the World Road Race last year, third in the World Half Marathon this year. Good race here for fourth place. On the right of your picture there is Katuna of Romania. 98 is Asahina of Japan. The Romanians who've just had a very, very good World Junior Championships in Seoul, by the way. And this little girl, no doubt spurred by the memories of great runners like Doina Malinte and Paula Ivan, comes home in a very good fourth place here. She was only 45th in the world cross country. Asahina is in fifth place. Roba is in sixth, the 19-year-old Ethiopian. Here's Eriko Asai of Japan, very experienced marathon runner. Behind her, Zscherbeck, the German, who was 15th in the Olympics, by the way. That was a good run. She could be one for the future. She won the Hanover Marathon as well. And the runners coming in behind, including Negura, I noticed, the Romanian going through, twice the World Road Race champion. And Andrea Wallace is going to be just outside the top 10, but unleashing a sprint finish at the end of 13 miles. The English record holder, silver medalist in the World Road Race Championships. And still they're coming home. Gordon Block, a 31-year-old American who failed to finish in the Tokyo World Championships. Joy Smith behind her. And then there'll be a whole lot of fun runners trooping home. But it's Liz McColgan who's taken the laurels here with a popular home win after what's been a very, well, I was going to say mixed, but frankly disappointing summer for her, because she puts her standards so high. She's obsessive and confident. She doesn't make a lot of friends among the other athletes because of that. They sometimes resent her rather bullish attitude and forecast about what she's going to do. But you could have said the same about Saida Wheater among the men, but McColgan often does deliver, and she certainly has delivered here. They really know their athletics in this part of the world too. They've had people like Steve Cram and Brendan Foster, Mike McLeod, Jill Hunter, Kirsty Wade, double Commonwealth champions, made her home up in this part of the world. And just look at the size of the crowd. Really terrific turnout. Of course, a lot of them are waiting for their relatives and friends who are running for charity. And their triumph will be just a finish. It really is a tremendous occasion up on Tyneside. 10 deep. That crowd, look at it along South Shield seafront. And there's the result confirmed. Liz McColgan just outside the course record with 68 minutes, 53 seconds. Fujiwara second, Munarotto in third. The team prize, though, goes to Japan, with Great Britain second and Romania in third place. Now, what about this men's race? We can concentrate on that now. Benson Messiah here is going for a double. Nobody'd really heard of him when he came to Tyneside last year and won the Great North Run. But it wasn't a freak, because he went away, he won the Honolulu Marathon, he ran well on the cross country, and he won the Stockholm Half Marathon. There's the clock ticking away. Something just outside 11 minutes, I would think, from the finish for Messiah.
If he keeps this pace going, then it could be the first ever legitimate sub-60-minute.
All part of the high-tech coverage you get these days, helicopters, cameras on police motorbikes and the like.
Maybe he had enough about him to let the Tanzanian go, but I don't think this race is all over.
It does look now as if it's Messiah against the clock. He's broken the field.
This is the scene of his only really significant international victory when he did it last year, but this time it's the World Championships, and he said yesterday he wanted to be a world champion. He's always wanted to be a world
Further back,
champion.
Cilio of Argentina still involved, with Akane, Tanzania, Aguto and Kaino of Kenya, and the best placed of the British runners, we understand, is Dave Lewis. That's the word from further down the track, or the road, I should say, shouldn't I?
Trying to track that, we can see the leader there.
First three to score in each team, and that's a coveted prize as well, the team prize.
It is a significant one.
And it means that really every place is worth fighting for.
Tanzania in second place, number 177, but he's been closed down very quickly.
177, Boai Akanai, the 22-year-old Tanzanian. Paul Turgat is number 299, we understand. 109 is Joseph Kaino. At the back of that group is Antonio Cilio, the Argentinian. He's about the only world-class Argentinian athlete around. Personal best of 63 minutes and 11 seconds, but he's improving all the time. He's the South American record holder. And he's the only one really threatening the African dominance of this race.
Looking at the split times, there have been some
Kenyans, Tanzanians, and an Argentinian.
10 miles was the most significant one for me. The last mile, well, that's a climbing mile from 10 to 11 miles, and Benson Masha has gone through 11 miles in 50 minutes and 37 seconds. So that 10 to 11th mile was a slower one.
Boai Akanai is clear in second place at the moment, but he is behind the leader Benson Messiah.
The group are going to catch him, and he needs to try and concentrate and hang on to the back of the
Makes you wonder really what Messiah might have done had he entered the Olympic marathon or been chosen for it. Maybe that's to come for him. Sure it is. Now Cilio here has made a forward move. He's wearing the light blue and white stripes of his nation's football team, Argentina. Quite a football fan, I understand, too. He was 18th in the Olympic Games in Barcelona in the 10,000 metres, Cilio, which is nothing to write home about, of course. Tended to be among the second division in the world's distance runners so far, but he's certainly here, is clawing back on Boai Akanai. And looks full of running, does Cilio, doesn't he?
Weren't expecting anyone to try and run away from him, and when Akune did, they couldn't do anything about it. Or they chose not to do anything about it, but I think that they didn't do anything about it because they really just couldn't stay with him. And Cilio running well now, starting to feel that Akune is possible. Once he gets alongside Akune at this
Crowds
stage of
lining
the
the route
he's got to go straight past him.
all the way from Newcastle to South Shields, and Cilio here, it looks as if he's going to come up to the shoulder and go past Akanai. How will Akanai respond to that? That's the question. I think he's aware now of the threat to his second place.
And watch him as he goes alongside Akune. He glances over his shoulder, Akune glances over his shoulder, and now there's no point in waiting there. The best thing to do is to get past him as fast as you possibly can and try and get him behind you. moves out. Keeps his
And
head
he's
down,
just
don't look
responding
across,
a
'cause
little
they
bit
know
with
there's a
with
weakness in
Cilio there up at his shoulder,
and move past as quickly as possible.
as you might expect.
Will probably be suffering for those erratic miles earlier. And if you give
The
him
pace has been a bit inconsistent in this race. They started off very fast. It was 4 minutes 31 for the first mile. It's tended to vary a little bit. Just a reminder that this is the tussle for second place that you're looking at. Cilio on the left, Akanai on the right.
It could affect the minor places quite a bit because between the 10th and 12th miles, quite a number of changes can take place.
This is the leader.
Last year's champion. Looking over his shoulder and seeing he's got a great chance of
And he's
repeating his
getting to
victory
be
last year.
a pretty famous figure in this part of the world.
And now he's got a big lead. Comes round that roundabout.
Looks like the ex-boxer has landed the knockout punch again.
Just over a mile to go to the finish. Second place now Cilio, the Argentinian. Oh, bit of a surprise.
Of course, 1 hour is the magic time as far as the half marathon is concerned.
It's really a case, don't
If anybody could break that one day.
The last mile can be very, very tough. But
Hasn't been done
Benson
officially yet.
well, he speaks
Because it's
confidently
difficult
about
too,
this.
because the courses are very dissimilar to each other. This is a pretty favourable one to the runners. Cilio in second place here ahead of Akanai.
And Cilio down a hill.
Akanai's rallying well. He's trying to claw back even. That's the coast on your left there.
4:39 for the last mile, for 11 to 12 miles. So he's obviously running strongly. 55 minutes and 16 seconds at 12 miles.
Last leg now.
And he'll realise
The
it was a great time
lead
out.
car showing the time. 55 minutes and 45 seconds now.
Inside 60 and a half minutes. But of course he's still
Time at 12 miles for Messiah was 55 minutes 17.
seems to stretch along forever.
And he really would have to produce a sprint finish from there to get on inside an hour, wouldn't he?
That's Masha having a look back. And actually,
This is another terrific performance from the Kenyan, and how many times have we seen Kenyan domination of distance races over the last decade? Cilio in second place.
Well, Benson Masha is certainly
He's run a
aware.
cracker.
I don't know if he's aware of how fast they're coming up behind him.
And I'm wondering if he's thinking he just might have made a move a little bit earlier. If he'd been a bit bolder, whether he might have got even closer to Messiah.
Benson Masha's looked over his shoulder a few more times than he needed to. He was
As it is, the gap between them is something around half a minute.
still a very winnable lead for Benson
If
Masha.
Messiah can keep this up, he's going to be heading for one of the fastest times we've ever seen.
I don't think he'll have a time on his mind now. At the early stages of the
Best two times of 60 minutes and 11 seconds,
60 minutes
twice
for a half
recorded
mile.
in South Africa.
Now, I think that
The course record is 60 minutes and 34 seconds to the Australian Steve Monaghetti.
Cilio of Argentina is looking strong.
This is Antonio Cilio, the 26-year-old Argentinian.
Getting good support. I think the people around here will recognise the blue and white stripes. Certainly not from the athletic track.
I wonder if this might herald a breakthrough into the top world class for him.
Actually, Cilio is not based in Argentina. He actually lives in Madrid, although he is very much
Messiah, the clock ticking away there. I don't think he'll be thinking about records. He's taking glances round. He made a very bold move to get away early. It paid off for him. And the gap looks too big for Cilio to bridge now. Akanai back in third place, the Tanzanian. The Kenyans, I think, are going to win the team event here because they've got a lot of men up in the leading positions like Aguta, Turgat, Kaino. Dave Lewis The Rossendale runner for Great Britain is running very well. He's up in the leading 7 or 8 at the moment. Inching through the crowds. The leaders here. Cilio here in second place. A cooling breeze from the sea. He's finished very, very strongly indeed, this Argentinian. Let's just have a look here and see whether Steve Monaghetti's course record is going to fall to Benson Messiah. He's definitely tired in the closing stages, there's no doubt about that. But you'd expect that. He glances over his shoulder. And that picture from front on just makes it look as if Cilio is a bit closer than he actually is. But he is clawing it back bit by bit. I think he'd have to produce a Linford Christie type sprint though to win this from here. Cilio, I bet deep down, is kicking himself that he didn't just go a bit earlier. Finishing funnel here for Benson Messiah. He's going to win this race for the second year running. He'll be the first ever men's world half marathon champion. He breaks the tape now, and it's a course record time. Steve Monaghetti's course record goes, and it's one of the fastest times you've ever seen. Cilio, the South American record holder at 5,000 metres and 10,000 metres, is an excellent second. Easily a personal best for him. Akane, Tanzania, third. This is Aguta for Kenya in fourth place. And these times really are very, very good indeed. Kano of Kenya. And Britain's Dave Lewis wearing number 70 here. Ahead of Castro of Brazil. Look at these two battling out. And it's Dave Lewis who comes home in 7th place. Excellent from his point of view. 61 minutes and 17 we had Dave Lewis at. Personal best for him too, the 30-year-old. Ndeti, Kenya. Kenya will definitely win the team event, no doubt about that. Then 69, Paul Evans of Great Britain. So the British runners have done well. 2 in the first 10 home, first 11 home, beg your pardon. 158, Yawa, South Africa. In 12th, ahead of Pena of Spain. And Francesco Panetta just coming through there in about 15th place. The former world steeplechase champion who's been flirting with the marathon. Bazaki, Italy, number 91, 103. Haraguchi, Japan, 27 going through. Da Costa, Brazil. And they all stream home, stopping their own watches. 5 is Kamel Kohil of Algeria. Doesn't look much like an Algerian, does he? Maybe with Scandinavian extraction, but Algeria, of course, producing so many runners these days. Notably, Mr. Norden Morsely, a new world 1500 metre record holder. Oh, the time's absolutely excellent. No less than 17 men we've made it, have broken 62 minutes. And the previous high in any race before under 62 minutes is 6. So the standards here have been sky high. Benson Messiah is the winner for Kenya, just to underline that point. Just saw Magotsi, number 154, coming home ahead of Fukwini of South Africa. 57 there. Raymond of France. And he's back in, what is it, about 50th place. Been a good race, much enjoyed, I might say, yet again, and brilliantly supported by the Tyneside public. Their enthusiasm for road running is quite undiminished.
And a good performance by the Kenyan team. We've expected them to that. We expect the selectors. They picked a great Kenyan team, and the British team have done very well. There were the results, but they're a cumulative time that produce team results.
I wonder how Steve Cram's getting on. He's been doing a lot of endurance work based on his plan to move up to 5,000 metres. The word from down the track is that he's done pretty well. He's running quite a reasonable time by the look of it. Heading for something like 66 minutes, which I think he would be very happy with. Watch for Mr. Cram next year on the track at that new distance. Cram, of course, a massive hero. When he does come home, he'll get a huge ovation from the crowd.
Well, I must say the IWF
Coming now, the results seem to be a good look, because in a few minutes' time, you'll see an avalanche of runners on the seafront. We can start to sense that they're gathering now. Crowds are beginning to...
And so, another fantastic weekend of road racing up in the northeast of England draws to its close. These are the elite runners. There's Steve Cram, and the time is under 66 minutes. Top 100 placing for Crammy. Yeah, he's happy about that, all right. He's had so many problems with injuries in recent years, it's been untrue. Great bloke, good to see him back.
And you know, he said earlier with a glint in his eye that he wasn't going to run too hard today, but I bet that's...
And that just a few days after running third in a road mile in Edinburgh.
And I'm looking forward to seeing him run a 5,000 metres next year, because I've always felt Steve is a good distance runner.
Maybe he should have made that move up to 5,000 metres a little bit earlier. And it's another Kenyan success story here for Benson Messiah, who's almost becoming Mr. Great North Run, isn't he, at the moment? 2 wins on the trot for Messiah, and his time confirmed at 60 minutes and 24 seconds, a course record and one of the greatest times ever run over this distance. Silio second, Akanai third for Tanzania. Kenya, as expected, win the team prize, with Great Britain getting silver and Brazil bronze.